Don't make this mistake when he contacts you. I am Bonang Matheba, and tonight I'm pulling you all the way into my living room, dim lights, red wine in hand, phone face down on the table, because what I'm about to tell you is the kind of truth that only comes out when the world is quiet and we're finally honest with ourselves. It was one of those humid Johannesburg nights where sleep refuses to come. I was curled up in bed, silk pillowcase against my cheek, scrolling through absolutely nothing important when the screen lit up with a name I hadn't seen in 8 months. Just 3 words. Hey stranger, that little purple heart he always used to send when he wanted me to feel special. My entire body reacted before my mind even had a chance to vote. Heart racing, stomach dropping, fingers already reaching for the keyboard like they had muscle memory I never gave them permission to keep. In that split second, I forgot every single therapy session, every girl's trip where I swore I was healed, every morning I woke up proud of the woman I was becoming without him. I forgot the nights I cried so hard, my ribs hurt, the way he disappeared for weeks, then acted like nothing happened, the way he made me feel like I was asking for too much just by wanting consistency. All of that vanished. All I could think was, maybe he finally gets it. Maybe he's been hurting too. Maybe this is the moment the story turns around. And right there at 2:14 a.m., I almost typed back something soft, something that would have handed him every ounce of power I had fought tooth and nail to take back. That, my love, would have been the biggest mistake of my entire life. I'm telling you this because I know you've been exactly where I was that night. I know what it feels like when the phone buzzes and suddenly the air in the room changes. I know how your breath catches and your mind starts sprinting through every possible scenario where this time is different. I know how easy it is to let one message undo months, sometimes years of work you've done on yourself. And I also know that nobody warns us about this moment. Nobody sits us down and says, sweetheart, the second he reaches out is not the moment you prove how sweet you still are. It's the moment you prove how strong you've become. I wish someone had grabbed my shoulders that night and shaken me until I remembered who the hell I am. Since nobody did it for me, I'm doing it for you right now. I'm here to tell you the one mistake you cannot afford to make when he contacts you again, because trust me, he will. They always do. The one who ghosted you, the one who breadcrumbed you, the one who said it's not you, it's me, while already texting someone else. One random Tuesday when his life feels a little empty or his new situation didn't work out the way he planned, your name will pop into his head like a safety net. And if you're not ready, if you don't know the rules of this particular game, you will hand him your heart on a silver platter and wonder later why it hurts worse the second time. I'm not here to judge you for still caring. I'm not here to tell you to block him and pretend you're made of stone. I'm here to protect the queen you're becoming. Because the woman who knows her worth doesn't open the door just because someone finally knocked. She makes them prove they deserve to walk through it. And by the time I'm finished talking to you tonight, you're going to know exactly how to do that. You're going to walk away from this conversation with your power firmly in your hands and your heart completely intact. Because you deserve to win this round, baby. You deserve to look back one day and thank yourself for not making the same mistake I almost made that night. Let's talk about the exact moment his name lights up your screen and your entire nervous system forgets how to act. That rush, that physical can't fake it, full body reaction that hits you like a wave you didn't see coming. Your heart starts doing double time, your mouth goes dry, and suddenly every single love song you've been skipping for months makes perfect sense again. You feel it in your chest first, then it spreads everywhere else. Your hands shake a little as you pick up the phone, and before you even read the full message, your brain has already written 3 different versions of how this could be the apology you waited for, the change of heart you prayed for, the plot twist you secretly hoped would still happen. I need you to know that feeling is completely normal. It doesn't make you weak, it doesn't make you crazy, and it sure as hell doesn't mean you failed at moving on. It just means you loved with everything you had, and love like that leaves echoes. I remember sitting on my bathroom floor that night after I saw his message, knees pulled up to my chest, tears already forming because part of me wanted so badly to believe this was the universe finally giving me the ending I deserved. I had spent the last 8 months rebuilding myself piece by piece. New city energy, new friends who never met the old version of me, new routines that didn't include waiting for anyone's text, new standards I actually stuck to. I was proud of myself. I was finally sleeping through the night. I was laughing without forcing it, and in one single notification, it felt like someone pressed rewind on all of it. That's the dangerous part nobody talks about. They don't tell you that healing doesn't make you immune to feelings. It just gives you better tools to handle them. And in that moment, when the past shows up dressed like hope, those tools are the only thing standing between you and another 6 months of pain. I know how tempting it is to let yourself fall back into the fantasy. You start remembering the good parts on a loop. The way he kissed your forehead when he thought you were asleep. The inside jokes nobody else would ever understand. The way being wrapped up in him used to feel like the safest place on earth. And almost instantly, your mind starts negotiating with reality. Maybe he's grown. Maybe he's been thinking about you every day. Maybe the reason he's reaching out now is because he finally realizes what he lost. Sweetheart, I need you to hear me when I say that feeling is real, but it's not the truth. That feeling is nostalgia wearing hope's clothes. And nostalgia is a liar who knows exactly which memories to play to get you to open the door. While you're busy romanticizing what was, he's just checking to see if the spare key is still under the mat. He's not thinking about the nights you cried until your eyes were swollen. He's not replaying the way he made you feel small for wanting basic respect. He's thinking, let me see if she still picks up. And if you answer too fast, if you match his energy before he's earned it, you confirm everything he's hoping for, that nothing has to change, that you're still the same girl who accepted the bare minimum, that access to you is still free. I want you to feel whatever you need to feel. Sit with it. Cry if you have to. Journal it out. Call your best friend and talk until 4 a.m. But do not let that feeling make the decision for you. Because the woman you're becoming deserves more than a late night text and a rush of old emotions. She deserves someone who never has to come back because he never left in the first place. Here it is, plain and simple. The one mistake you cannot afford to make when he contacts you is giving your power away before he's proven he deserves to even breathe the same air as it. We do it in 100 little ways we don't even realize are dangerous. We reply in under 5 minutes like we've been waiting by the phone this whole time. We use exclamation points and heart emojis like nothing ever happened. We say, I miss you too, before he's even acknowledged the damage he caused. We laugh at his jokes like he didn't spend months treating us like an option. We clear our weekend because he finally said the words we waited a year to hear. Every single one of those moves is a brick we hand him to rebuild the exact same wall that kept us trapped the first time. And the worst part, he knows it. Men understand power better than we give them credit for. They know that if you're still jumping when they snap their fingers, they never have to become better versions of themselves. They know that if you let them slide back into your life without consequences, they can keep doing exactly what they did before, only this time you'll feel too emotionally invested to walk away again. Giving your power away looks like pretending you're not hurt, just to keep the conversation flirty. It looks like accepting I've been thinking about you as an apology when he never actually said sorry. It looks like letting him call you baby again before he's shown you anything different with his actions. And every time we do it, we teach him that the price of admission just dropped back to zero. I learned this lesson the hard way, and I learned it more than once. The first time he came back, I was so happy to hear from him. I ignored every red flag waving in my face. I told myself people change, that love deserves second chances, that maybe I had been too hard on him. 3 months later, I was right back where I started. Only this time the pain felt worse because I had no one to blame but myself. I had handed him my power on a silver platter and then acted surprised when he used it against me. Power isn't loud. Power isn't dramatic. Power is quiet and steady and unshakable. Power is taking a full day to respond when every part of you wants to reply in 2 seconds. Power is answering with hey and a period, no emoji, no extra energy, letting him sit in the silence and wonder why you're not falling all over yourself anymore. Power is remembering that you are the main character, not the audition. And the moment you act like anything less, he treats you like anything less. So if you walk away from this conversation with only one thing, let it be this. The second he reaches out is not the moment to prove how much you still care. It's the moment to prove how much you care about yourself. Because the woman who keeps her power doesn't beg for closure from someone who never deserved the first chapter. She closes the book herself and starts writing a whole new story without him. And that, beautiful, is the difference between repeating history and rewriting your future. Let me pull the curtain all the way back so you can see exactly what's really happening when that text comes through. He's not suddenly overcome with love at 1:47 a.m. because the ancestors whispered your name in his ear. He's bored, lonely, horny, or his new supply didn't work out the way he thought it would. That's it. That's the whole story, 99 times out of 100. Men don't wake up one day magically healed and ready to give you the world. They wake up and check their roster to see who's still answering. They cast the line into the water just to see who bites. And sweetheart, when your phone lights up, you are not being chosen, you are being tested. I used to think those late night, I saw something that reminded me of you messages were sweet. I'd smile like a teenager and start planning the wedding in my head. Then I grew up and realized that man probably sent the exact same line to 4 other girls that same week. It's not romance, it's inventory. He's taking attendance. He wants to know if you're still on the bench warming up for whenever he feels like playing again. I've watched friends, gorgeous, successful, brilliant women drop everything because an ex liked their Instagram story from 3 weeks ago. I've done it myself. We convince ourselves it means something deep when the truth is much simpler. He's scrolling at a red light, thumb moving on autopilot, and your name just happened to be there. That's not fate. That's muscle memory and a lack of options. The harsh reality is that if he wanted to be with you, he would be with you. If he wanted to fix what he broke, he would have done it months ago, instead of waiting until his ego needed a quick boost. Men move with intention when something is truly valuable to them. They don't slide into DMs when it's real. They show up at your door with flowers and an apology that actually has weight. Anything less is just him fishing in familiar waters, because he already knows the fish in this pond used to jump straight into the boat. And the second you respond like old times, you confirm that nothing has changed. You're still the safe space he can return to whenever life gets a little uncomfortable. But here's the part they never expect. When you don't bite, when you leave them on read or take 3 days to answer with something dry and unbothered, they panic. Because now they realize the pond might have been drained and rebuilt into an ocean they no longer know how to swim in. And that, my love, is when the real show begins. The moment you stop being predictable is the moment you become unforgettable. I need to tell you about the time I ignored every single thing I just told you and paid for it in full. It was about 2 years ago, right after I swore to myself and to God and to my therapist that I was done with him for good. I had blocked him everywhere, deleted the threads, thrown out the t-shirt he left at my place, the whole dramatic cleanse. I was proud, I was free. I was finally sleeping without checking my phone at 3 a.m. Then one random Thursday, he found a way to reach me through a mutual friend's phone. A simple voice note. I know you hate me right now, but I just needed to hear your voice and tell you I messed up. My heart did cartwheels. I listened to it 17 times. I cried. I called my best friend and we analyzed every syllable like it was the Zapruder film. Within 48 hours, I had unblocked him, accepted his follow request, and agreed to just talk over coffee. 3 weeks later, I was back in his bed, back making excuses for why he didn't text all day, back shrinking myself to fit into the little corner of his life he was willing to give me. And the worst part, he never even apologized properly. He just love-bombed me long enough to get what he wanted, then slid right back into the same patterns like nothing had ever happened. I remember the exact moment I realized I had done this to myself. I was sitting in my car outside his place after he canceled plans last minute for the 3rd time in a row, crying so hard I couldn't drive, and it hit me like a brick. He didn't force his way back in. I opened the door, took the chains off, and handed him the key. I gave him permission to hurt me again because I was so afraid of missing the chance that this time might be different. That was the last time I ever let nostalgia write checks my self-respect couldn't cash. I learned that missing someone and wanting them back are 2 different things, and one does not justify the other. I learned that a man who truly wants to fix things doesn't wait until you've moved on to suddenly care. He fights for you while he still has you, not after he's lost everything else. And I learned that the price of letting him back too easily is always, always paid in your peace. From that day forward, I made myself a promise. Never again would I trade my healing for his convenience. Never again would I let a few sweet words erase months of growth. And baby, when I tell you that promise changed everything, I mean it. The right kind of love doesn't require you to go backward to prove you're worthy of moving forward. So here's your new playbook, the one I wish someone had handed me wrapped in gold the first time he came circling back. Rule number 1, when that message comes in, you do not touch your phone for at least 24 hours, minimum. I don't care if he said he's outside your building with a boombox. You wait. You breathe. You go take a shower, call your sister, do your nails, anything that keeps your hands busy and your heart steady. Because the first 24 hours are when your emotions are loudest and your wisdom is quietest. Rule number 2, before you type a single word, you ask yourself 3 questions and you answer them out loud. 1, why is he reaching out right now, today, after all this time? 2, what has actually changed about him, not about your feelings about him? 3, if he never texted again after this, would you still be okay? If you can't answer those questions with confidence, you don't respond at all. Rule number 3, when and if you do reply, you match his effort, not his potential. If he sent a hey, you send a hey. No paragraphs, no memories, no, I've been thinking about you too. You give him exactly what he gave you and not one drop more. And then you put the phone down and go live your life. You let him sit in the discomfort of wondering why you're not doing cartwheels to talk to him anymore. You let him be the one checking to see if you opened the message. You let him be the one sending the follow-up text. Because the truth is, a man who is serious will always reveal himself quickly when you stop making it easy. He'll call instead of text. He'll ask direct questions instead of throwing out vague bait. He'll make plans and keep them. And if he doesn't, if he fades away because you didn't give him the instant validation he was fishing for, then congratulations, you just saved yourself another lap around the same mountain. These 3 rules are non-negotiable because they protect the most important thing you have, your peace. And peace, once you've tasted it after heartbreak, becomes the one thing you refuse to trade for anything less than extraordinary. So the next time he reaches out, you don't have to wonder what to do. You already know. You breathe, you wait, you protect what you've built, and you let him show you who he really is without you having to lose yourself to find out. Because the woman who follows these rules doesn't get played. She gets peace, power, and eventually the kind of love that never requires her to diminish herself to receive it. The moment he steps back into your atmosphere, the burden of proof is on him, period. Not on you to show you're still sweet, still forgiving, still willing to make it work. He is the one who walked away, who stopped calling, who let silence do the breaking up for him. That means he is the one who has to climb the mountain now, not you waiting at the bottom with a welcome mat. Too many of us get this twisted. We think if we stay calm, if we don't chase, if we don't flood his phone with paragraphs, we're going to lose him. Baby, if he can be lost because you refuse to chase, he was never yours to keep. A man who wants you for real doesn't need you to audition again. He already knows the value of what he almost threw away. I need you to get this deep in your spirit. You do not prove you're still the one. He proves he's finally ready to act like it. That proof shows up in consistency, not confessions. It shows up in plans that don't get cancelled, in good morning texts that actually come every morning, in apologies that name exactly what he did wrong instead of the vague, I wasn't in a good place. Real proof is him doing the work before he asks for the reward. It's him showing you change behavior for weeks, months before he ever dares to ask for a title again. Anything less is just a man trying to collect the benefits without paying the cost. And you, my love, are no longer in the business of giving discounts to people who bankrupt you the first time. When he reaches out, your only job is to sit back and watch. Watch if he's willing to put in the kind of effort he never gave you before. Watch if he respects the boundaries you set without trying to guilt trip you into moving them. Watch if he disappears the moment it stops being easy. Because a man who is serious will keep showing up even when you're quiet, even when you're busy, even when you don't give him the instant gratification he's used to. And a man who isn't will vanish faster than you can say, I knew it. Either outcome is a gift, because both tell you exactly where you stand without you having to lose another piece of yourself to find out. So let him carry the weight this time. Let him sweat. Let him prove with his actions, not his adjectives, that he deserves even 5 minutes of your energy. Because the woman who makes him earn it never has to wonder later why she settled for someone who only wanted her when she was free. Now let's talk about the moment that scares most women more than anything else. What if you hold your ground? What if you don't jump when he says jump and he just disappears again? Good. Let him go. In fact, throw him a goodbye party in your mind and thank him for the early exit. Because if a man walks away the second you require respect, effort, or basic consistency, you didn't lose a soulmate. You dodged a bullet that was going to fire eventually anyway. I used to be terrified of this part. I thought if I didn't answer fast enough, if I didn't show him I was still open, somebody else would slide in and take my place. Then I realized something that changed everything. Anyone who can be taken because I refuse to beg was never mine in the first place. The right man doesn't punish you for having standards. He rises to meet them. The wrong man uses your standards as an excuse to leave so he doesn't have to look in the mirror and admit he wasn't ready to do the work. When he ghosts because you didn't make it easy, celebrate, pour the wine. Call your girls. Do a little dance in your kitchen because you just saved yourself another 6 months, another year, another cycle of crying in your car at 2 a.m. wondering why you're not enough. His disappearance is the universe's fastest background check. It's God, your ancestors, your higher self all saying, see, we told you, next. Every time I've held my ground and watched a man fade because I wouldn't lower the bar, I've looked back 6 months later and laughed at how much peace I would have lost if I'd let him stay. The trash took itself out, baby. That's what happened. And the beautiful part, the space he leaves behind is never empty for long. It gets filled with better sleep, better laughter, better opportunities, and eventually a love that doesn't make you choose between your dignity and your heart. So if he vanishes because you decided you're worth more than late night crumbs, let him run. Wish him well on his little sprint back to whatever chaos he came from. Because a man who only wants you when you're an easy yes is a man who will never deserve the extraordinary woman you are when you're a hell yes to yourself. You deserve a love that doesn't require you to shrink, to chase, to prove, or to pray that today is the day he finally acts right. You deserve a love that meets you where you are, not one that shows up every 6 months like a subscription you forgot to cancel. And the only way you get that love is by believing down to your bones that you are already whole without it. I want you to say this out loud right now, wherever you are. I am not a backup plan. I am not a when he's bored option. I am not a soft place to land when life gets hard somewhere else. I am the main event, and anybody who wants a seat at my table has to bring more than memories and maybe one day promises. You were valuable the day he met you. You were valuable the day he left. And you are valuable right now reading this with your healing scars and your grown woman standards and your heart that still dares to love even after everything. That value doesn't fluctuate because some man finally looked up from his phone and remembered your name. Your worth is not a light switch he gets to turn on and off whenever he feels like it. It is the sun, constant and blazing, and he either learns to stand in its warmth or he gets burned trying to dim it. The love you deserve calls when he says he will. It shows up with solutions, not excuses. It apologizes with changed behavior, not just pretty words. It chooses you on your quiet days, your bad days, your I don't feel like getting dressed days, not just when you're glowing and the world is watching. And until someone shows you that kind of love day in and day out, you keep choosing yourself. You keep filling your own cup. You keep building a life so beautiful that anyone who enters it has to level up just to keep up. Because the truth is, Queen, you don't need to be chosen by someone who once rejected you. You need to keep choosing the woman you're becoming every single day until your standards are so high. The only people who can reach you are the ones who were always meant to. And when that love finally does arrive, it won't feel like a victory you had to fight for. It will feel like peace you always knew you deserved. So here we are, you and me, at the end of this long, honest talk, and I need you to do one last thing before you close this tab or put your phone down. I need you to make a promise, not to me, but to the woman staring back at you in the mirror tonight. Look her in the eyes and swear on everything you love that from this moment forward, you will never again hand over your crown just because someone who once dropped it suddenly wants to see if it still fits. Promise her that the next time a man from the past tries to resurface, you will not shrink, you will not scramble, you will not rewrite history to make his return feel like destiny. Promise her that you will keep the scepter in your own hand, because queens do not kneel for men who only learn to bow when they realize the throne was already taken by your self-respect. I want you to feel the shift right now, in this very second. Feel how different your body feels when you decide, truly decide, that your heart is no longer open bar for anyone carrying old baggage. Feel the weight lift when you realize that loneliness is not a punishment. It is the entrance fee to a season of clarity most women never get to experience. Feel the power settle into your shoulders when you understand that being chosen by the wrong person is infinitely worse than being single. You have spent enough time auditioning for people who were never casting directors in your story. From today, you are the writer, the producer, the director, and the leading lady. And nobody gets a speaking role unless they have earned it in real time, not in nostalgia. Picture this. 6 months from now, a year from now, you're living in the energy we just built together. Your phone lights up again. Same name, different timing. But this time your pulse doesn't race. Your stomach doesn't drop. You don't pause the music or abandon your friends mid-conversation. You glance at it, smile a small knowing smile, and keep dancing in the kitchen while dinner finishes cooking. Because the notification no longer has the power to pull you out of your own life. You have trained yourself to remember that a text is not a contract, a memory is not a reservation, and a remember when is not a reason to forget how far you've come. That is the moment you know you've won. Not when he comes running back with apologies and grand gestures, although he probably will, but when his return no longer has the power to shake the life you built without him. That is true freedom. That is the glow up nobody can buy, fake, or take away. So tonight, before you fall asleep, do one practical thing for me. Open your notes app and write yourself a love letter from future you. Tell Present You how proud she is that you finally stopped negotiating your worth with people who never planned to pay full price. Tell her thank you for every night you chose peace over potential, for every boundary you held when it was scary, for every tear you let fall instead of swallowing it to keep someone comfortable. Seal it with the words, I kept the promise. And every time you feel yourself wavering, every time an old flame flickers back into view, open that note and read it out loud. Let future you present you who the hell you are. We are done letting men who fumbled us the first time think they deserve season 2 access without going through the same audition everyone else has to pass. We are done pausing our healing to see if someone finally decided to grow up. We are done being the safe harbor for ships that only dock when the storm hits somewhere else. From this day forward, we sail forward, full speed, sails high, heart guarded but never closed, standards higher than they've ever been, and peace louder than any apology could ever be. This is the pact. This is the turning point. This is the moment you stop surviving heartbreak and start owning your power so completely that heartbreak can no longer recognize your address. And when the right love does come, and it won't have to knock twice, because you will already be standing tall in the doorway of a life so rich, so full, so undeniably yours that adding someone to it will only ever feel like the cherry on top, never the whole sundae. So hold your head high, beautiful, keep your standards higher, keep your heart soft, but your boundaries stone, and never, ever forget you are not waiting to be chosen. You are choosing every single day the woman who deserves the kind of love that never makes her question whether she is enough. If this spoke to your soul the way I hope it did, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment with the word crown so I know you're keeping the promise. Like this video and share it with every queen in your life who needs to hear that her power is non-negotiable. I drop new truth like this every week, and you do not want to miss what's coming next. I love you, I'm proud of you, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep the crown, always.